Hi, it's Wyndham. When was the last time you procrastinated over something? For me, it has been the last 2 weeks. Finally got round to resolving it this morning. Two and a bit weeks ago, I got a notification from my car insurer saying your auto renewal is going to kick in at this time. Your premium this year is this much money. And it came in and I thought, I'm not going to do it. I've got a month, 3 weeks, whatever it is. I've got time. I'll put it off. And then I got another reminder. And then I looked at my diary and I thought, well, it's going to kick in then. No, I've still got time. Eventually, towards the end of last week, I bothered to go online to get a comparison quote. And I find out that the renewal my existing insurer is offering me is about £200 more expensive than a brand new policy with a new insurer. So what did I do? Nothing. I sat on it. I knew I could save. I now had a material figure in mind of how much money I could save, or more importantly, how much money I would be penalised if I failed to sort the auto renewal out. Failed to cancel the existing insurer, I am £200 worse off just for being a procrastinator. And then the weekend came around, and then I woke up first thing this morning and it was like, oh my God, I've only got a few days to sort this out, or it is going to cost me £200. And even in that moment, when I thought I have to sort this out today, I could feel this weight of delay building inside me. So what's actually going on when we procrastinate? Is it because I'm lazy? Well, if you scroll back through my videos, you will find that I don't believe anybody is lazy. I'll put a link in the description for a video I did about you're not lazy. So if it's not that we're lazy, then what the hell is it? Because all of these life admin tasks, how many of us do we really want to do it? The washing machine breaks down. Car insurance needs reviewing. It's just this big weight of, why do I have to do these things? And the interesting thing is it isn't that we're too busy. It isn't that, sometimes we procrastinate because we're just overwhelmed. We feel overwhelmed. We've got so much coming in that we can't get around to doing anything. And that can make us think it's a time management problem. I'm either lazy or I just don't have enough time. But right at the very core of it, this isn't a time management issue. This isn't a laziness issue. This is an emotional reaction issue. So when those things come in, when these life admin tasks present themselves, we tell ourselves a story. And that triggers an emotional reaction which disinclines us from doing the thing we know we need to do. And what manages our automatic reaction to input stimulus? Our blueprint. And our blueprint tells us the emotion we're supposed to react to whatever the stimulus is. So when we have these moments of procrastination, when an email alert comes in saying auto renewal's up, my blueprint is offering me a feeling based on how it has learned to react. So what is the story I'm telling myself about dealing with an insurer? I'm sure everybody watching this has had to deal with insurance companies. And what is our experience of them? Especially when we want to end our relationship with them. So this morning I was sat there and I thought, what am I expecting this to be? Well, I'm expecting this to be very time consuming. I am expecting this company to have built a process that makes this as difficult as possible for me. I am expecting to be kept on hold. I'm expecting to be passed around. I'm expecting for them to counter. I'm expecting all these things which I do not want to experience. All I want is to press a button on my online portal saying cancel auto renewal. But these are businesses, right? So they don't do that. And the story I tell myself is that it's going to be a horrific experience. And it was going to take hours. And it's going to be terrible. It's going to ruin my day. But those are just stories. Because I don't know what this particular insurance company's policies are. But my blueprint thinks it does. And it is telling me you don't want to deal with these emotions. So don't do the thing. And then we get to a point where we have to do the thing because my desire to avoid these negative emotions is not greater than knowing I will have imposed on myself a £200 penalty for not dealing with my car insurance. So when we get to that point, we face the problem. So what do we do about it, right? Because this procrastination stuff can show up across our whole life. It can be the small things, the life admin, the really simple things in reality. Get on the phone to your insurer, do whatever it is they require you to do, take as long as that takes. If your time, so if that process is going to take you an hour and your time is worth more than that offset, either get somebody, outsource it to somebody else to change, or accept that it is what it is. It's fine. For most of us, that £200 is like, why would I incur that if I don't have to? But it isn't just these small life admin. It's the big deal things as well. It's when we're at work and we've got all of this work coming our way and we can't get into it. It's when we are looking at our lives and going, this isn't working out for me. What am I going to do about it? I'll kick that can down the road. And when we look at those three instances, dealing with an insurance company, small fry in the grand scheme of things. A feeling of overwhelm at work because there's so much stuff coming in that we feel unable to cope with it. Procrastinating about making real change in our lives. What are we dealing with? Procrastination is an emotional management tool. It's a system our blueprints have created to help us avoid things that make us feel bad. So if we can bring our awareness to it and recognize that this isn't about us, this isn't about a lack of ability, this isn't about laziness, this isn't about anything to do with us beyond the fact we have created stories that make this instance emotionally challenging for us. If we can get to that point, recognize that that is what is happening, we're then in a different situation. We're not dealing with this unknown behemoth of a problem. We're dealing with an emotional management problem. And there's a really great, I don't know how many of you have heard of the Serenity Prayer. But essentially, it covers all of this for us. But it does it in a very high level way. So I've got it written down so I don't forget it. But the core elements of the Serenity Prayer, as far as I'm concerned, are: grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So essentially what that is saying is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So let's go to the small example, car insurance. I cannot change their process. I can't. That insurance company has a way of dealing with cancellations of auto renewal. And they may well have built a process that makes it harder for me because they want to retain me as a customer. although they don't offer me the best price, which would retain me as a customer. That's aside. Their process is built in a way I cannot have any influence over. So if my emotional reaction is to be frustrated or angry at that, I'm falling at that first hurdle. I lack the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So first and foremost, when we come up against this procrastination, what are the stories I'm telling myself? What is the reality, in inverted commas, that my mind is giving me, and how much of that is true? How much of that do I know? Because if I don't know it, I'm making it up. And if I do know it, can I change it? No. With the insurance company, I cannot change this. And then it says, grant me the courage to change the things I can. So in that insurance incident, what can I change? Well, the only thing I can change is how I approach it. My reaction is the only thing I'm in control of. And I'm only in control of it if I'm aware that this is what's going on. So for me, it was, I have no idea how long this is going to take. And I am going to see it through. I have my phone on the desk, on speakerphone, I was carrying on working, half an ear on them, the background hold music, and I was on hold for about 45 minutes. And after they actually picked up, I had 2 minutes of further verification of who I was, 1 minute of them trying to get me to agree to let them quote me again, which I never do. And then 30 seconds while they said, okay, no problem, we'll sort that out now. Thank you very much. Anything else I can help you with? So start to finish, that whole process took about 50 minutes. Which when I reflect on the story I was telling myself, well, I thought it would be hours. I thought it would be huge inconvenience. I thought I would be in a fight with the insurer to allow me to leave. But the reality, when I finally sucked it up and said, I don't know what it's going to be, the only thing I can do is control me. I then have an experience which is shorter than I was expecting, much less hassle than I was expecting, entirely respectful from both sides. They asked if they could quote again. I said, no, thank you very much. I appreciate it's not you, the call handler. I don't see why insurance company, I understand why they do it, but I don't like the disrespect associated with trying to rip me off and then trying to say, oh no, we can do you a favour. So we had a very short conversation. My blueprint, unless I consciously catch it next time, is going to remind me of a previous experience, is going to feed me this emotional reaction in 12 months' time. And if I don't remember instantly, hold on, I'm putting this off because of an emotional reaction that may or may not happen. What can I control? You know, in my coaching philosophy, the 246 framework, 4 pillars. The first one is responsibility. What can I own? Can I own their process? No. Can I own however they are going to show up on this call? No. Can I own how I approach this process? Can I own how I show up on this call? 100%. So that's what we do. In the bigger challenges, it's harder. Of course it's harder, but the principles remain the same. Grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. Where in all of this melee of flood of work coming in, where can I actually affect change? And if the immediate answer is there's nothing I can do about this externally, then we have to look internally. Well, what can I take responsibility for? Well, I can take responsibility for telling my manager that this is too much. There are consequences to all of these things, of course there are. And yet it is still our ownership, because it is us who are suffering under the weight of overwhelm, overwork, procrastination. Because just because we procrastinate, that thing stays in our head, right? We're still suffering with it. And when we're looking at big change in our life, that responsibility piece, the serenity to know what I can't change. What can I not change about change? Well, change is going to be hard. I cannot make that go away. It's going to be work. I cannot change the fact in the first however many months or years of creating a life we really want to live, I will have slippages. I will fall back on old behaviours. I will fall back into old patterns. I cannot change that. What I can own, what I can change, is how I react to those things. How can I build a framework that allows me to preempt some of these inevitable things? And what am I going to do when they happen? Because I've spent the last 2 weeks in a sense of victimhood because my blueprint was telling me I would be made to feel a certain way by somebody else. In this case, an insurance company. But I wasn't taking responsibility for what I can do in those moments. And it is only when we take responsibility that we move out of that victimhood and move into this space of empowerment that says, I'm going to do what I can do. I am not going to be a passenger in this process. I'm going to drive the bits I can drive. So when did you last procrastinate? What were you procrastinating about? And on reflection, what were the stories you were telling yourself that were creating this emotional reaction? Procrastination is not laziness. It is not time management issues. It is nothing other than an emotional management technique. It's our blueprint helping us avoid the things that make us feel bad. But it is our responsibility to rewrite the blueprint so these things take their proper place in the world. Of course, dealing with insurance companies is a pain. I can't change that. And it is a requirement for me to have insurance. So what am I going to do? I am going to change how I react, how I approach it. I leave you with that. I wish you a peaceful and joyful few days, and I will speak to you soon.